Coming up on this holiday season edition of Inside Bellingham, we'll take a look at the 28th Annual Allied Arts Holiday Festival and get a taste of what you might find there. And the Bellingham Police Department is looking for a few good volunteers over the age of 55. We'll find out more. And we'll meet with Bellingham's newly elected mayor, Dan Pike, and find out about his thoughts about our fair city. And we want to introduce you to Kim, and Kim, three hard-working city employees who make a Bellingham dream team. All this and a holiday wonder of information more right here on Inside Bellingham. Hi, and welcome to Inside Bellingham. I'm Doug Waldo, and this is charming Fairhaven Village. Fairhaven's landmark brick buildings are well over 100 years old, rising in the boom days of the 1890s when this was a wild and sometimes even dangerous neighborhood to roam. It's changed quite a bit. Today, these few square blocks host about 20 fine eateries to tease your taste buds and please your palates. Fresh condos and apartments growing amongst the historic buildings are bringing new life to the neighborhood. There is also a fun selection of interesting shops to delight your holiday gift-giving spirit. Whether you're looking for a fine European sausage or a colorful wind-up toy for your toddler, Fairhaven is a charming place to shop, window gaze, or just leisurely walk around. But the Fairhaven neighborhood is more than just shopping, though. This is the historic Fairhaven Library. Built in 1904 with a $16,000 grant from none other than Mr. Andrew Carnegie, it still serves the community very well. Another pedestal of our community is the Allied Arts Holiday Festival. For 28 years now, Allied Arts has been bringing in artists and craftsfolk of every discipline to show off their skills and wares in what has become a very eagerly anticipated Bellingham tradition. This year, over 100 artists will exhibit splendid examples of their craftsmanship right downtown at 1310 Cornwall. And if you haven't been there yet, here's just a little peek at what you might find.
This holiday festival is an extremely unique festival. The long-running time of it, the way it's designed, the inclusiveness of it, and the fact that we're also incorporating other kinds of festivities, including music and children's activities. So this is a really wonderful way to really celebrate the artistic variety that we have here in Whatcom County. We've made it a point this year with our holiday festival to celebrate artisans through time and acknowledging how important they are to this community.
I went all over different craft fairs and looking for another potter that made lidded mugs because I do a lot of meditation. I sit down and my tea gets cold. So I couldn't find them, so I started making them myself. And they will definitely be down there.
This is my Wonder Woman cuff, and it has 3 different metals in it: copper, sterling, and 14-karat gold riveting. It's kind of a staple in my work, is mixing metals so that everything looks a little bit different. You've got the precious with the industrial. You're supporting your community when you come out to Allied Arts. You get to support your neighbors. You aren't just getting something that anybody can get. I mean, somebody in Arizona is not going to be able to have access to the same artists that you have here.
see all the different things and see all the happy people. And, you know, and people are down there and they're just happy to be there, which is really nice.
I'm just very excited to see it come off and to see how we can continue the legacy of what we're here to do, which is really try to provide this great opportunity for artists and provide this great opportunity for the community to really connect with each other.
The 28th Annual Allied Arts Holiday Festival is open every day except Mondays through Christmas Eve. Fairhaven is a neighborhood in transition. New buildings, new businesses, and new neighbors. It represents in a confined area what Greater Bellingham is experiencing on a much larger scale as our community welcomes thousands of new neighbors every year. Oh, and speaking of new, Bellingham elected a new mayor in Dan Pike. We recently had a chance to talk with Mayor Pike about his new job, the mayor of Bellingham.
I state your name.
I, Dan Pike,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
I'd like to thank everybody that was engaged
of the United States
in the election, whether they supported me, whether they supported one of the many other fine candidates running for mayor throughout the year. I think that that involvement is a key element of why we as a city are a good place to be. We're a collection of folks that are committed to some meaningful shared goals, whether it's parks or the arts community or affordable housing. All of these are things that because we're working collaboratively on these, we're making real progress, and we're really a template that other communities look to for how to solve these things, how to address these things in a positive way. I'm very excited by that opportunity. I think we have some wonderful, wonderful opportunities sitting in front of us to deal with these issues. And I look forward very much to working with these with every member of the community. Anybody that wants to weigh in on this, one of the things that I've talked about in my campaign and that I'm bringing to office is really an openness to dialogue. I like hearing people's ideas. I like being challenged. What I frequently tell people is, look, if you're trying to insult me, let me know, because otherwise I'll just assume that you're sharing information, and I like having information shared. I do not pretend to have all the answers, nor does anyone in the city have all the answers. But as a community, I think that we do have most of the answers that we need to move us from being a really good place to being a really great place.
You can find out more about Mayor Pike's plans as he settles into office by visiting the city's website at www.cob.org. I think few folks would disagree with me when I say Bellingham is a very photogenic location. It seems like just about everywhere you turn presents an interesting picture. But is there a single photograph out there that represents the essence of Bellingham, our core? A photo that will tell future generations what it was like to live here today? Well, if you have a photo or plan to take one that captures the heart of Bellingham or Bellinghamsters, you might want to enter it in the Essence of Bellingham photo contest. The contest is sponsored each spring by the city, but anyone who lives in Whatcom County can participate. What you are looking at right now are some of the terrific pictures entered last year. There were hundreds of entries and lots of winners, from children to seniors. And this was the stunning winning entry for last year. So start snapping those photos now for next year's contest. Oh, and you can find out much, much more about the contest, including entry dates and submission requirements. Just head over to www.cob.org and search for photo competition. The city recently overhauled and improved its very large website to make it easier and more efficient for information gathering. We talked with Stephen Niedermeyer, the city's webmaster, to find out why it was time to say goodbye to the old website and what enhancements have been made.
The site hadn't been redesigned for over 5 years, and in internet time, that's a lifetime. Technology changes so rapidly that we have to keep up with the modern browsers so people can access the site. I really enjoy making things more efficient. It's something I've always enjoyed doing. And with this new site design, people can get to the information and services much more easily. And I'm excited about new technologies such as online video and people being able to access that type of information from the comfort of their own home, day or night. This has been an effort that's been going on for well over a year, and it's involved the mayor's office and every city department. And in fact, the community has been involved. There's an annual photo competition called the Essence of Bellingham, where citizens submit photos of what it's like to live, work, and play in Bellingham. And we've used many of those photos on the new site to highlight what it's like in Bellingham. One of the great new features of the site is that you can access information and services by topic. Much like a Yellow Pages for city government services and information, you can find things such as arts and culture, business, planning and neighborhoods, and utilities. The online services page offers things such as streaming video of BTV 10 programming. We have job opportunities, the ability to register for classes and recreation activities, checking your library account, permit inspections, status, and purchasing opportunities with the city. A key new feature with the new site is the ability to search on a specific topic. For example, Lake Whatcom. When you search on it on the new site, you can find out information about the Lake Whatcom Reservoir. There's information here on maps of the lake. There's information on, a boater's handbook, for example, as well as the recent news releases. The site has been improved for people who have disabilities, visual impairments, or physical impairments, so that the pages have been designed for the technology that those people use to make it more accessible to them. For instance, you can actually increase the size of the font on the monitors significantly, and then also oftentimes people who are blind, for example, have software installed on their computer that basically reads the words off the screen out loud to them.
Nestled between the mountains of the sea in northwest Washington state, Bellingham is at the center of a uniquely picturesque area.
And one of the considerations that we took into designing this site were there are repeated pieces of content on the top of every page, and there's a link that they can choose that skips all of that repeated content and takes them directly to the main content of the page. With the increased use of mobile devices such as cell phones, we took that into account with the new site design as well. People can access, for example, their permit status if they're out on a construction site just from their mobile phone. One of the challenges with websites is that they have a lot of information and services on them, but sometimes it's difficult to find those. So with the new site, what we've done is consolidated some like content. For example, grants and funding. You can now find all of the opportunities to apply for that that the city offers in one place. Also, there's online services such as registering for classes and looking at facility availability in one place.
You can try out the website for yourself and find out why we are so proud of it at www.cob.org. In our next segment, you're going to meet the city's green team. Kim, and... I can never remember this third one. Kim. They're three enthusiastic staff members who are working very hard to help city employees and citizens learn and incorporate practices that will make them better stewards of our community, as well as our planet.
I'm Kim Brown. I'm Kim Fidel. I'm Kim Stans. And we're the Green Team!
I'm working with the Green Team to help green our practices within the city. Before the Green Team started, here at City Hall, we only recycled paper and cardboard. But in 2006, we expanded that recycling to include glass, bottle, and plastic. And then in 2007, we also included food waste. Well, one of the Green Team's responsibilities is to help reduce our waste, to help satisfy our climate protection plan. In 2007, City Council passed a resolution that helped us integrate green thinking into our purchasing. The goals of the Green Team are really to be as green as possible daily with everything we do within the city. So that if you go to the printer, making sure that we double-side our paper, or that we use paper that's already been used on one side. If we're going to have an event, that means we're recycling and composting all of the things from that event to make sure that it doesn't have much waste. That we're educating our staff and one another to be as green as possible so that we're modeling what we hope the rest of the community is doing to be a really environmentally responsible community. So we're hoping in 5 years that the Green Team has expanded to include almost everybody in the city, that most people will be green. So that means that we're recycling everything that we can, that all city departments and buildings have a recycling system to reduce their waste, that we are practicing green through our daily practices all the time, and that our whole community really is green.
One of the responsibilities of the Green Team is to encourage people to use alternative forms of transportation. When more people walk, bike, carpool, or ride transit, it reduces traffic congestion on our streets, improves our air and water quality, and reduces the use of natural resources. Some of the ways we do this is through commute trip reduction at the city, encouraging our employees to use alternatives to driving alone. We assist them with bus routes and schedules, bike routes. We also help set up carpools, which have been very successful. Another program is the Safe Routes to School, and we work to encourage children to walk and bike to school. We make it safer and easier by improving facilities and working with the schools and school community. Kids are healthier, less traffic around the schools, it's much safer, and children get to know their community and become independent travelers. Through these efforts, we're working to ensure that we have a balanced transportation system where all modes are accessible to people, from young children through to the elderly. It's walkable, bikeable, there's easy transit access, so that in the future we have a very vibrant and healthy community.
While Kim Fidel is working on internal practices and Kim Brown is working on internal and external practices, I'm working with others to educate and promote green building practices for developers and designers. The green building practices include LEED, which is Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, and Built Green. These are both a set of building standards that we're trying to promote people as they come into the permit center interested in doing a project to consider these kinds of things. It includes things like water conservation, energy efficiency, low toxicity materials, natural daylighting, reusing materials, the kinds of things that aren't really part of conventional development right now. City government has a responsibility to be a good leader. In fact, in 2005, we passed a resolution that states that any new city building, 5,000 square feet or greater, will be built to LEED Silver standards. We have the expertise, we have the passion, and we want to spread that to the community and change the way we do things so that this really is a livable city. And with the help of the Green Team, we think we're well on our way.
For more information about and ideas from the Green Team, visit www.cob.org. When you need help in an emergency, it's good to know that firefighters are equipped, prepared, and trained to give you the assistance you need. Well, Brian Flanley, a Bellingham firefighter and paramedic, lately has had readiness on his mind.
Motor vehicle collisions account for a significant number of the emergency responses we go on each year. By now, you've probably either driven past a collision site, seen the headlines, or watched TV footage. So how do paramedics and firefighters deal with these emergency situations? Well, it comes down to training, training, and training. When every second counts, we fall back on those things we've already rehearsed. And our first priority on the scene is safety. When we arrive at a collision site, we position the engine to provide fire protection and serve as a barrier between us and oncoming traffic. Inattentive motorists are a leading cause of death and injury for law enforcement and fire personnel. So the more metal we have protecting us, the better. While the medical team works to assess and stabilize the patient, the extrication team works to assess and stabilize the vehicle. If the vehicle is on its side, then special stabilizers are attached to prevent additional rolling. Once we're sure the vehicle will not move, it is time to remove the patient. Sometimes it is as simple as sawing out a windshield or popping a stuck door with a Halligan tool. If the damage is more extensive, then we break out the hydraulic tools. Probably our most versatile tool are the spreaders, sometimes known as the jaws. These can be used to open doors, push up collapsed dashboards, or pry apart pieces of metal. The cutters are used to make purchase points for the spreaders to push from, in addition to removing door and window posts. Airbags can be used to lift vehicles when they're upside down or gain access to patients that may be trapped underneath them. The medical and extrication teams are in constant contact during this process. Here we see a paramedic using a new device to intubate a patient who is trapped in a vehicle. The camera mounted on the curved blade allows us to see the patient's vocal cords on a separate screen. This gives us the ability to ventilate and protect the patient's airways in positions which would have been nearly impossible before. While each situation may be different, our goal is to minimize movement to the patient while removing the twisted metal around them. Speed and accuracy are both important, particularly in high-velocity impacts. Generally, the more damage we see to the vehicle, the more likely the patient will have received life-threatening traumatic injuries. So that's how we deal with automobile extrication emergencies. And what's your role in the process? Well, try to avoid needing our services. Drive as if your life and the lives of your passengers depend on it, and it certainly does. Last year, 42,642 people died on our highways, with more than 2,575,000 injured. Pay attention to the road, not your cell phone. Conditions change, and you need to be able to change with them. Make sure that you and everyone else in your vehicle are wearing your seatbelt. And last, if you're approaching a collision scene, please don't pay attention to the wrecked metal. Instead, watch out for any emergency personnel that may be present. We watch out for you. Please watch out for us.
You can find out more about firefighter readiness and equipment at Bellingham's Fire Department website, www.cob.org. If you're over age 55, have a good driving record, and can pass a background check and have 4 hours of spare time a week, you just might qualify for one of the openings with the Bellingham Police Department volunteer program. We had a chance to head out on patrol with a group of these very dedicated volunteers to find out what they do and why.
The Senior Volunteer Program was started in 1976. The program began with what they call Vacation House Checks program, and it's a program that they're still doing to this very day.
We will do vacation home checks. If an individual wants to have their house checked while they're on vacation, they call the station here, and the operators will take the information, and we will check it on a daily basis. We check doors and windows, and from time to time we will find an open door. It's amazing how many people will go on vacation, and in haste to get out of town, they will leave their front door wide open.
There's two other current programs that the Senior Volunteer Program does. One of those is our abandoned vehicle program.
For abandoned vehicles, usually begins with a call to the police department that a vehicle has been parked for a certain amount of time on the street and does not look like anybody's using it. The city code says that you can't park more than 24 hours in any one spot. We don't consider that an abandoned vehicle right away, but if somebody comes and tells us that the vehicle's been there for a week or two, we will go out there and tag the vehicle, and then we'll come back a week later. The vehicle is still there, we will tow it.
We definitely free up the uniformed officers, the commissioned officers. Who would want to expect that an officer would sit an hour waiting for a tow truck when he could be out? So we're freeing them up.
The third program that they currently do for us is our disabled parking enforcement.
You never know what's going to happen when you go out. I view our work as kind of being an additional set of eyes and ears for the police department. We come upon all sorts of things when we're out there. Recently I came upon an accident that had just happened. Other times when tagging an abandoned vehicle, I found drug paraphernalia in the car and immediately had somebody come out and take charge of that so that the children who live in the neighborhood didn't climb in the open car and get stuck with a hypodermic needle.
They do on average about 100 vacation house checks a year. If they didn't do it, that would probably be a function or a service we would not be able to provide here at the police department. And if seniors stop doing abandoned vehicles as well, a decision would have to be made. Is that a program that we're going to be able to continue to provide to the citizens of Bellingham?
You need to be mature, be able to speak with the public, because our job is essentially one of educating the public. We're not out there to tow cars just because we like to tow cars or to give tickets to people in handicap spots. We'd like for people not to have their cars on the streets, not leave them there. We'd like people not to park in a handicap spot.
The qualifications are pretty simple for our program. You need to be 55 years or older, have a good driving record. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you need to have a good driving record, and you need to be able to pass a background check, and you need to be able to commit 4 hours a week or be willing to commit 4 hours a week to the program. And if assuming all those things come out okay, then we would bring you on, and then we would provide you with all the training, all the uniforms, all the equipment needs that you would have to have.
If you'd like more information about the Senior Volunteer Program or to find out if you might qualify, call the Bellingham Police Department at 676-6920. Certainly is an exciting time of year, isn't it, in an exciting city. And as this year draws to a close, I'd certainly like to wish you an excellent holiday season and a wonderful new year. And say welcome to our new mayor, Dan Pike. If you have feedback or ideas, we'd love to hear from you. You can reach us through our website or directly via email. Now, don't forget to get out the old camera and dust it off as you look for a photo opportunity that captures the essence of Bellingham. And if you'd like to take a picture of me, well, that's fine too. I'm Doug Waldo. For all of us in the city of Bellingham, thanks for watching.